Okay. And we are now going live. Hold on.
Rob, morning, pal.
Okay. Good morning, everyone.
We have a bunch of people coming in now. Good morning, Bam. Morning, Jasmine. Oh, good morning, Pam.
Yes, good morning.
Morning, Andrea.
Wonderful morning, everyone. So welcome to Primetime Philippines. So I'm Pao, operations lead here at the Realty One Group Philippines, and I'm glad you're spending the next hour with us. So today's episode, it's called Stop Chasing Leads, Start Building Your Spear. And we're switching things up a bit. So instead of our usual format, we're having a real conversation about the one thing that quietly makes or breaks your real estate business. So joining me today is someone who spent over a decade in real estate lead generation, helping top producing agents in the US build their business, and who is now leading our franchise development here in the Philippines. So please welcome everyone, Junray Palma. Junray, welcome.
Good morning, pal. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. And of course, we also have here Rob Spearman, our master franchiser and CEO.
I am excited. June Ray worked with many top real estate teams in the U.S., helping with their lead generation, and he has some great information to share. So I'm kind of pumped to hear about it.
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
right.
Yeah, so whether you're joining your office, your home, even on the go, we truly appreciate your investing your time with us today.
Right. So yeah, let's get on with it. So Junray, in your experience, what is the biggest thing real estate professionals here in the Philippines miss when they're building their business?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're right, pal. I've been in real estate lead generation for over a decade. And I help several top producing real estate professionals in the States in building their business. And I would say the biggest opportunity that I saw that they were really missing out was they didn't work by referral through the sphere of influence. And this is not just in the States. I see most agents here in the Philippines are not doing it as well, mainly because they either underestimate the value or they just fail to build a systematic relationship with it.
Okay. So when you say sphere of influence, for someone hearing that for the first time, what exactly do you mean by it?
So I'm not sure if you've experienced this, pal, while walking in a mall. You see these people walking towards you, you know their names, and they know your names as well, and they remember you. They could be friends of your friends. Those are your sphere of influence. So building a list of people who already know, love, and trust you, like your extended family, your friends, your neighbors, people, from your community, people that you know in church, charities, if you're in one, volunteer groups, your kids' school, and anyone really that you're friendly with outside of your closest circle. Those are your sphere of influence, pal.
Okay. But here's what I think a lot of people watching are thinking right now. They might be saying, I don't actually know that many people. So how do you help someone build that sphere from scratch?
So most real estate professionals really underestimate how many people they actually know. So whether you're a brand new agent or just move into the newer marketplace, the very first thing that you do to start is to make a list of people that you know. Because you almost certainly know, more people than you think. For example, have you met a new barber or a hairstylist? Or have you found a dentist? Or have you chatted with a clerk at your local store? I mean, those are real connections. You go ahead and add it to your lists. And then you get out and meet with more people. You join groups that you care about. Become a genuine networker. So the key is to be intentional about connecting with people. And if someone says, no, I can't work with, a sphere of influence because I only know like maybe 20 people, then you start with 20 people. All right, start writing your relatives, your former classmates, your former coworkers, your community groups, your neighbors, I mean, pickleball mates, right? Parents of your kids' classmates, business owners that you know, vendors and service providers, social media contacts. I'm pretty sure most people have at least 200 contacts in their social media. So really you just have to reconnect with the people that that you know your name, that would answer your call, and that would recognize you if they saw you.
Got it. But is there a specific number I should be aiming for?
Yeah, so ideally around 100 names to start with, then you start growing from there. If you're asking like, hey, why just 100? Well, you could probably start with more, but the 100 is like a sweet spot. It's large enough for you to build a real momentum, but it's small enough for you to stay on top of, and the number will rise and fall, as you add and remove people over time. But definitely 100 is a solid baseline to aim for.
Okay. Say I've got 100 people on my list. Now, how should I sort or rank them?
Yeah, that's a good question, pal. So, not every contact deserves equal time. So you got to strategize. I know there could be multiple ways for you to do it, but the easiest way that you can rank and sort your list is you sort it from A plus down to D. So your A plus, these are your advocates, right? These are the people that have sent you multiple referrals in the past, and your best repeat customers. So your goal is to spend most of your time with these people, right? These are the folks that you take to lunch. These are the people that you pop by and see them over a cup of coffee. You know what they always say, pal. You spend more time where the water is the warmest. So that's you have your A plus. You go to A, which is your referral sources. So these are the people on your list that would highly likely refer you and would occasionally send you leads. You can reach out to them monthly, or send them emails or text, and meet with them face to face quarterly. So the goal is you have to work with these leads until they're ready to be moved to the A plus. So that's your A. Your B, these are your potential advocates, right? These are the people that like you and would refer you if you ask and show them how to do it, right? You can continuously work with this leads and build relationship until they become A, right? So you can call and check with them quarterly, and send them seasonal mailers. The next one is C, right? These are your casual contacts. So these are your new additions. These are your past clients, people that would refer you down the line. Reach out to them twice a year. Keep them on a drip campaign, and so you can build relationship with them. Next one is O. These are your online leads, right? These are your unverified internet leads that you haven't established any relationship with. So you contact them immediately. You call them right away. And then, depending on the result of that conversation, you move them, the stages accordingly. And the last one is your D lists. So these are your delete lists, right? These are the people that's unsupportive, people that's not responding to you. Maybe they're committed to another professional, people that you don't want to do business with, right? So you delete these people immediately. You don't want to waste marketing time or money with those leads. So by ranking your contact list now, you can prioritize your people, and so you can prioritize your time as well. So you do this so your energy and your marketing budget goes to where the referral are.
Okay, but how do you actually keep track of them now? Do you use your phone, just open your notes, or you're doing it on your notebook, or is there a better way to do that?
Right. So Realty Wonder Philippines, we use this one V card to capture new contacts on a spot. And when you share your V card with someone, your details land, in their phones, and their contacts are saved in your contact database automatically. And then what you can do is you can move it on a spreadsheet so you can organize it. And now this coming fall of 2026, we're launching one CRM. It's powered by Pipe. And so what you can do is you'll be able to upload your list of contacts that you've been working on. And every contact that you captured through one V card, moving onwards, it will go directly to your one CRM. So you no longer have to move them manually. It will bring your whole entire database into one place. So you got your names, you got their contact number, you have their emails. Now you're ready to start working on them, right? You're ready to start follow up and grow them.
Oh, that's great. I went ahead, June Ray, I went ahead and shared the a spreadsheet sample so for everyone could if you don't have a spreadsheet or way to keep track of it, it's right here on the chat and you can download it.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, that's good. Thank you for that, Rob.
Mhm.
Wonderful. So, why is having that spreadsheet or CRM so important? What actually happens to a broker or an agent who doesn't have one?
So your spreadsheet or your CRM is not just a contact list, it's your relationship management system. So your database is one of the most valuable assets. It's important because your spreadsheet and your CRM helps you keep track of your leads and your important follow-ups as well. It helps you stay consistent. And if you don't have a proper system, people from your database, people that you work with, they disappear in your radar. So again, your database is the lifeblood of your business. Not having a CRM or a spreadsheet is simply like you're running a gasoline station and your storage tank is empty. People are lining up with their cars and needs to get filled, but your gas pumps are dry. So you don't have any gas to sell. It's the same thing. If you don't have a database, you don't have a business at all.
Right, right. That makes sense. Now, let's say I've got 100 people in my database. How valuable is that really?
Yeah, so the idea is your database is a way bigger, than it appears. See, this is why agents are not doing this because they don't realize the power, of the referral business for a sphere of influence, and why other agents who understand this, are winning. So I want to explain this right, pal, because it's really important, and I want everyone who's listening right now to understand the value of this. So if you have 100 people in your list in your database, you're not really limited to reaching just those 100 people. So you need to understand that each of those people has their own network of friends as well, right? They have families, they have coworkers, they have neighbors, they have business contacts, they have social circles, right? So statistically, on average, each person has at least 250 contacts with them. So imagine if, you have 100 people on your database, you multiply that by approximately 250 each. So you have 25,000 people, right? And that's your 25,000 person gold mine. Now, if you're looking for buyers, that's where you find them, and it just sits there, right? So most agents have no idea. But the point is you don't have to personally know 25,000 people. The point is you already have access to thousands of contacts and potential connections through, trusted relationships. And what you need is just a meaningful relationship with the right 100 people who know, trust, and remember you.
That's
Love
really
it, love
something
it.
else. 25,000 people. So what you're saying, if I have 100 people, the right 100 people, I have access to 25,000
Exactly.
potential buyers. So if I had access to 25,000, I'm just thinking out loud here, is that 25,000 people, there's got to be like 20 or 30 or 100 people. 100 of those are probably making are ready to buy a house today,
Oh,
if
absolutely.
not
Yeah.
several hundred.
Yeah. So
So,
there are people there thinking about doing something.
wow, that
Right.
is a gold mine.
Yes, I haven't thought of it that way. So that's really valuable. Now, let's say I'm done organizing them in my spreadsheet, I'm done ranking them. What is the next step?
So make your first contact. Go ahead and reach out to everybody, in your database and let them know that you're in a real estate business. and that your work primarily by sphere of influence. A personal note works really well as well. You can mail or email it to them. You can use your Realty Wonder Philippines letterhead, and you include your business card or your 1V card. And then, it's really important that you set expectation up front that you'll stay in touch with them with some useful information on a regular basis. And at the bottom, you can leave them a simple message or a sincere reminder like, oh, by the way, John, I'm never too busy, for your referrals. And that's the key line there. Oh, by the way, I'm never too busy for your referrals.
Got it. But here's something a lot of people, brokers and agents, will relate to. Like asking for referrals can feel awkward, even pushy at times. So how do you get past that?
Yeah, you know that saying, pal, there's always a perfect timing for everything. So, you gotta stop thinking of referrals as asking favors and start thinking of them as earning and receiving introductions. It could be feel awkward sometimes because you usually usually sounds like, hey, do you know anybody who's buying or selling? So that could, feel transactional and you put pressure on the other person. So instead, focus on building relationship first. Stay connected through phone calls, hold small gatherings, in events, invite people to dinners, share valuable contents, do genuine follow-ups. It makes sense if you give value first, before you expect something or anything. And when people already feel cared for, referral happens more naturally, right? People are more comfortable referring to someone who has consistently helped them. And you can use invitational language. Instead of saying, "Hey, can you send me referrals?" Try saying something like, you know, "Hey, my business is grow or my business grows through introduction from people that I really enjoyed working with. And if someone in your circle ever needs real estate guidance, I'll be honored to help." So there's a big difference. It doesn't sound like you're asking. You're letting people know that you're in real estate and that you're always happy to help them. So the key idea is you build relationship, you stay visible, you create confidence with people and make it easy for people to introduce you.
Okay. But why do people actually need to know that you're a real estate professional?
Yeah, so there's two things there, pal. It's really important that that people need to know that you're a real estate professional. So, the people and the agents and real estate professionals today, they're struggling growing their business is they're thinking themselves as a secret agent, right? So their friends, their family, their co-workers, their sphere of influence, that they don't even know that they're in the real estate business. Or if they know that they're in real estate, they think that they're just doing it on the side. So, you shouldn't assume that people automatically, know that you're active in business. So the reality is people are busy. If you're not constantly visible, they'll forget about you. And so you got to stay present and make sure that your network knows that you're in real estate, right? That you're actively helping clients, that you're producing results, and you're not too busy for their referrals. So it's very important that you're aligned with Realty One Group, a U.S. international real estate brand, because it adds trust, but it also states that you're in real estate. So you don't want to hide, that you're a real estate professional. For example, pal, if somebody asks you like, "Hey, what does pal do?" So what they should say is, "Oh, pal, she's a real estate professional. She's a broker with the Realty One Group." That there, that's so that's what your sphere of influence has to know. And here comes the second part, the proof of success. So people refer to professionals who give them confidence. So when your network sees your listings getting sold, your clients sharing positive reviews, they're seeing tons of closings and success stories. It basically reinforces the idea that this agent is active, right? This agent is credible, and helping a lot of people succeed. And so that social proof reduces hesitation, and it actually increases referrals. So number one, don't be a secret agent, right? Stay visible. Number two is you create proof of success. You show consistent results.
Got it. Now, what are some things a broker or an agent can actually do to stay top of mind so your spear feels good about you and wants to send people your way?
Right. So staying on top of mind isn't about constantly, asking for business. It's about creating value. It's about strengthening relationships. It's about giving people positive reasons to remember you when a real estate conversation arises. And there could be bunch, of ways to do it. For example, you can do client appreciation events, right? So I used to work with somebody in Austin, Texas. He's a mortgage broker, and he's a really big fan of organizing client appreciation parties. Only because he knows that he generates more business coming from those events like that. So every year he holds a crawfish boil party at his house, and the people that he invited and joined the party really like it. Even those people who weren't able to join, they still appreciate him just for inviting them. And that's why he's top of his game. And he's getting tons of referral from his past clients, active clients, and from his sphere of influence. One thing you can also do is you can do small dinner parties, right? Relationship gatherings. Invite few of your past clients, invite friends or referral partners to dinner. It shouldn't be a sales event. It's just a relationship building. People would, refer more when they feel that they're personally connected. Another example, Pau, is you can become a resource person for a vendor list, right? You can build relationship with reliable, local professionals like plumbers, electricians, roofers. You can connect with painters, landscapers, HVAC technicians, right? Mortgage lenders, lawyers, accountants, handymans, cleaners and other service providers, but personally vet them whenever possible so you can recommend them with confidence. So when clients and friends or neighbor ask you, like, hey, do you know somebody, good plumber? Your answer is immediate because you have a list of contacts that you can refer to. You can say, yeah, yeah, no, I can refer you to a trusted plumber. So by consistently helping people with everyday needs, you become their first to call, right? So not only for home service, but eventually for real estate business as well. And another one is sharing content of value, right? You can send them monthly market updates. For example, you can share with them, home maintenance tips, investment insights, buying and selling education. You can send them financing and ownership tips because people don't refer, someone to somebody because they saw just one sales post. They often refer because over time they think that okay, well, this person stays in touch. They add value. They care about the people and they're really consistent showing up. So the point is people would remember you how you made them feel, right? When they feel appreciated, they naturally think of you when a real estate conversation comes up. And there I know there could be multiple ways, it could be more, ways, but those are just some of the things that you can do to stay on top of and build a referral business.
Yes, I love that. Those are really good examples. Now, let's say someone refers a client to you. What do you do next? And what's the one step that you think most brokers and agents skip?
Yeah, so many real estate professionals, only focus on the transaction side. And often they forget the relationship that created that opportunity for them. So in a referral business, you take care of your clients, but also you have to take care of the person who opened that door for you. Because referral business grows when you protect and you elevate the person who introduces you. So regardless if that's someone, if that referral is someone who would buy or sell, or maybe they just have some, some questions that you're able to answer, you gotta call the refer and let them know that, we've met, we've met with them. Or maybe send them a personal note, saying, hey, thank you for connecting me with them. They're amazing people and they were so happy and they're really excited to meet with me today. So what happens there is that it reflects positively on the refer, right? And there's a reason why we do this, right? You're showing good service, your relationship building. But here's the biggest key point here. You're showing proof that it was taken care of, right? Because Pao, how many times have you given, personally, how many times you've given someone a referral and you haven't heard anything from them, right? And you don't even know that it worked well or not. So that's the key there. That's why some agents get fewer referrals and others are getting a lot because they understand these little things.
Right, right. That is so true. Now, on the flip side, why would someone be hesitant to refer you in the first place?
Yeah, so one of the biggest reasons why people hesitate to refer is it's not because that they don't like you. It's because of the confidence and the fear of looking bad, right? Referral is personal. When someone introduces you to a friend, a family member or a colleague, they're putting their own reputation on the line. And that's why people are really careful about that. For example, if I refer Rob as a real estate professional to a friend of mine, that it's my reputation is on the line. Yeah. Because, what if, my friend has a bad experience? What if Rob did not follow up with them? Or what if, this reflects badly on me? So that's why referral are built in more than just relationships. They're building confidence as well. And people don't refer because they know you. They refer because they're confident that you will make them look good for introducing you.
Got it. And here's one I know a lot of people will relate to. Like, what if your referrals are always asking for a piece of the action, basically a cut of the commission? How do you handle those?
Yeah, it's an interesting topic and it's very kind of controversial. Yeah, I've heard a lot of, some brokers complain about this. So I'll ask you, pal, like, would you go to work every day if you're not getting paid? Right.
Absolutely not.
Right. So you work the entire month, and I came back and said, hey pal, I'm not gonna pay you in full. I'm only gonna pay you in half. Are you okay with that? Of course not, right? So they did refer you a lead. It could be a good lead, it could be a bad lead, but you did everything, right? You're the one who worked really hard to close it. You're doing this full time. You brought so much value in that transaction. You have your license. You went through those trainings to be a professional and they want half of your commission? Yeah, no, I don't think so. So let's say your neighbor referred you to a job and you work the entire month and then your check came in. Will you give half of your salary to your neighbor because they refer you to do the job, right? Or if you're a doctor, right? Are doctors giving away half of their professional fee to someone else? Yeah, I don't think they're doing that, are they? I mean, it should, should be the same thing with licensed professionals. I would rather work with 5 transactions and get 100% of the commission rather than, exhausting myself working in 10 deals and half of it goes to someone else. I know it's a cultural thing here in the Philippines, but you did not go to school to study and pass the brokerage exam and become a professional and pay a bunch of renewals and share half of your earnings to the referral. I mean, did I say that right, Rob?
Oh, geez, yeah. I tell you what, I think that we provide so much value and that people that don't have a license and they're asking for the commission really hurts all of us together. And I believe when you're turning that down, it elevates your professionalism because you really want people to send you referrals because they know that you're going to do a good job. You're really going to perform and they love and trust you. And it would be like, June Ray, if you referred me to a mechanic and I went to get my car worked on, and let's say it was a good experience or a bad experience, doesn't make a difference. But then I find out, oh, you got half of what I paid the mechanic. It kind of cheapens it. It's like, you only mentioned that person because you got money. Now I don't trust them because they want some money. And they didn't, disclose it to me or say anything like that. I think it cheapens us. We have such high values. We work so hard 7 days a week to do what we do, and the time to take to get the education uh, and your PRC license. You should not need to give away your commissions to non-licensed real estate professionals. Shouldn't be. I mean, the PRC, it's against the rules. It's against the rules of real estate with the PRC. Of course, it's not enforced as much as it should be, but I think we can have higher values in that. And June Ray, what you said, I'd rather do five. I'd rather help 5 people buy a home, get 100%, and then try to help 10 people, and they only get 50% of it. I think that's a way to grow your business faster and better with higher integrity and much more professionalism because we are professionals. These are some of the biggest investments most families will ever make, and we handle that for them. We take care of it for them. So I think you really hit it right on the nail square. We shouldn't be sharing.
Yeah.
Got it. Now, we've got an edge, here in the Philippines that most markets don't. Like buyers from the UK, US, Australia, Middle East, even the OFWs abroad or expats looking for retirement homes or second homes. Rob, what do you think is different about working with this kind of leads or referrals?
Well, it's interesting. If we've been talking about this is a interesting question because we've been talking about building your sphere and something as many trips as I've made over the last year and a half to the Philippines, the last trip it just really became clear to me on this. Every time I take a taxi or grab from the airport, every time it happens, every single time, they'll ask me, "Where are you from?" Because they kind of think that I'm from the United States. And so I'll say, "Well, I'm from the United States." The very first thing, very next thing that they say is, "Oh, I have a cousin in New York. I have a cousin in California, an aunt in Idaho." They they know someone. And everywhere I go, when I meet people, if it's at the hotel or if it's at the restaurant, they'll ask me, "Hey, are you from the United States?" Yes. And then they have to tell me about all their family over there. So what is really powerful about this is when you look at your sphere of influence, those 100 people, most likely they have family in the States, in England, in Canada, Australia, Singapore. They have family there. People that that have moved there, that might be permanent residents, or now they have dual citizenship and they have good jobs and they're working there. Uh, they need to be aware that you can help them. That's the power of Realty One Group because you can help their family buy and sell homes, stay in the United States. And there's a process to that. And it's a very simple process. And we'll help you through that process on the first one that you do or several that you do. But um, let me just kind of, Powell, do you want me to kind of explain how that works a little bit on the referrals? Would you like me to share that when you're working with a U.S. real estate? So when you are putting that front and center and repeating that several times through the year, letting them know that you can help them. And when they have someone that wants to buy or sell and they're living in the States, you can refer that to a Realty One Group agent. Now, if there's not a Realty One Group office in the area, you can refer it to another real estate professional. And it's easy to do because they know that you're a US brand. So there's instant trust with those professionals. And you refer it to them and you ask for a 25% referral fee. You can do this because you're licensed. You're a licensed professional this way. And in the United States or Canada, you can refer back and forth only if you're licensed. So both parties have to be licensed. And the typical sale in the States is the commissions are going to be from 8,000 USD to 20,000 USD. So you'll receive 25% of that in USD, not the peso. You'll get it paid in USD. So that's the first thing. That would be something that you'd really want to focus with your Spear, because I know that there's business right there that's happening. And by the way, I believe just recently there was a Realty One Group agent that happened to have a client that they knew in California, and they were able to refer it to them. They were wanting to sell their house in California, and they arranged it with a Realty One Group agent there. In the States, if you put a house on the market right now in today's market, it's going to sell within 60 to 90 days. So it's not going to sit for a year or 2 years. It will sell fairly quickly. So
Right.
that
And
referral check comes back.
right. But for someone who's never worked with an OFW or an international client before, what do you think is the first thing that they should get right?
Well, there's a couple things. So you really there's two paths that you would kind of look at. It's the real estate professional that's going to send the buyer or seller to you. Now, it could be a seller in the Philippines, but most likely what you really want to target is the buyers, because there's harder to find buyers in today's market. So they're going to refer you. Now, one of the first key things is they expect your email signature is well done. They expect answering the phone or replying back on WhatsApp or SMS, text, but they want to hear what's happening. So when they send you that business, you need to thank them about it. You need to be in contact with that real estate professional from the States. Now, when you make contact with the buyer or the seller, it's not about the property or the listings. So this is an area that I think there's just great opportunity with this. Um, when buyers are coming from the States and they're coming there to buy a retirement home, or what they're doing is they're moving there because they are retired. Um, they they want to know about the area first. So rushing off to send listings or rush off to gather the properties is the worst thing that you can do, because that puts you as a salesperson, and you don't want to. You're a professional. So it is really about the area or the lifestyle with someone that's going to move there because they're looking for a lifestyle change. And so they want to know about the locations. They might have two or three open. They want to know about schools if they have younger kids in school. They want to know about activities if they're retired, golf courses and medical and shopping and things like that. So the area, the lifestyle is what you focus on first. And you narrow down the lifestyle in that area that they're comfortable with. Then you're finding the properties that match that. So your very first conversations, they might talk to you about, hey, this is what they want. This is the price that they're going to spend. But you need to spend most of the time in those first early conversations is how do they want to live and where do they want to live with that. And that's probably one of the biggest mistakes that I see in the Philippines is when a referral comes in or even an online lead gen is they're rushing just to send properties. Biggest mistake, you'll scare them away.
Right, right. That is actually common here because we don't actually get a lot of referrals from the international. Now,
Right.
yes. So let's say someone refers a US or a Canadian agent to you. Like, is there a wrong way to to introduce a referral? Like something that damages the relationship on the first try?
Is it, are you talking about the communication with the agent or with the client?
Yes.
Agent? Yes. If it's delayed, um, I've talked to agents here in the States, and if it's the Philippines or another country, they will they have a great client. That client is already pre-qualified. That client is serious. They might have been working with this client for many years. They might have sold this client two, three, five, seven houses, or it could be 100 different properties if they're investors. So they have a strong relationship with them. And so they know that they're going to buy or they have an interest in buying. And so they will call or they'll contact a broker and then no response. They'll contact another one, no response, and another one response. And for us here, it's like, well, what's happening? I mean, this person's going to buy. Maybe it's in 3 months or 6 months or a year. Why isn't no one even excited about it? I mean, uh, why aren't they jumping on this opportunity? So it's a great opportunity for us, realizing that most of the real estate professionals and the non-professionals in the Philippines aren't replying back. They aren't contacting them right away. So when you do get that outreach from that real estate professional, you immediately have to respond back to them and you in a professional way, and you've got to contact the client immediately. Don't wait 24 hours. You contact them right away and let them know that they were referred from Junior Rodriguez in the United States, and they ask you to help them. They're going to be excited for it. The other thing is you have to keep in mind they might not be looking at buying in the next 30 or 60 days. It might be a year out. So the relationship is there and you have to build it and continue to stay in contact with that other real estate professional and also with that buyer. But the communication is quick. If it's 2 or 3 days before you respond back to that agent's going to say, you don't care about my business. You're not capable. You can't even reply back to me. I'm not going to trust you. Matter of fact, I found somebody else to help you, you know. So you lose business, good business. Um, US buyers, if they're coming there, or if it's a Filipino first, second generation coming there and they're working the States, the, the US dollar is very, very strong. You know, they might have sold their house. Now it's all cash. They're going to buy in cash. It could be that they're going to buy a luxury unit, and and they have multiple homes in the United States or in other countries. So, or could it be a CEO of a business that's moving there? Um, so you're going to have some good clients that way.
That's spot
Right.
on, Rob. In my experience, when especially if it's an internet lead, if you haven't contacted them within the 5-10 minute period, you lose that clients, you lose that business. So I think you're spot on when you say you have to contact them immediately.
You do. And June Ray, have you noticed this with online leads? We're a little bit just kind of a question here. You get the online lead, and you might call them or send them an email right away, and you don't hear anything. But then but do you see that most professionals, they just stop right there
Right.
instead of continuous to contact? Is there like a magic number of how many times you contact them before sometimes you actually talk to them?
Oh, absolutely. It could be within like 10, 20, or even 50 contacts before you get in hold of somebody. But for me, the idea is you have to be really consistent. If it's a brand new lead that came in, you have to set a follow-up. If they haven't answered your phone call, you send them a text message. You email them, and then you do a follow-up. Like you do four first two calls in the mornings, one probably in the noontime, and two follow-ups on the afternoon. So you're hitting them with phone calls, text, and email. And it could probably take, another day or two before they respond to you. But that lead would understand that, okay, so this is somebody who really wants business, and then they're professionals, so I'll better respond to them. And again,
Mm.
if you're not gonna do that, if somebody came in, and asked for help, regardless if it's just a question or if there's somebody who's buying, and if you're not gonna follow up within the next 5, 10 minutes, you're gonna definitely lose that business.
Mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, so those have been really good points. Now, I want to ask you both, if a broker or an agent watching this right now could only take away one thing from today, what should it be?
Oh, they start building your sphere of influence, pal. Or not, they're gonna run out of business. Start building your database. People who already know, like, and trust you. They are worth more than any list that you can buy out there. Definitely.
And Paul, I have two. The first thing is what June Ray shared. He said, if you don't have a database, you're out of business. It's like, I mean, you're not even in business if you don't have a database of your spear build up. And we spent all this time, and I've seen this many times with over the last 35 years, is the best professionals, the ones that have consistent business, the ones that have great clients, always have a sphere of influence. And over the years, I've had agents and brokers come in and they're struggling with the business. And the first question I'll ask you, do you have a database? Do you have a CRM set up? And they'll say, no, I don't have one. It's just like, it's the worst thing that you could do is not have a database. And I think the second one, and this really hit home when June Ray shared with us, and he said 100 people know 25,000. That really staggers my mind a little bit. I just 25,000 people, and I just know that there's buyers right there today, and I want to reach those buyers. And if I've really worked those 100 people, I have access to 25,000. I think that today we do a lot of social media, which is tremendous, and we have great social media. Uh, I've seen just absolutely wonderful, but sometimes we miss the relationships and some very simple connections that have worked for centuries in growing our business, in any type of business, really, real estate or any other type of business.
Yeah. Hey, 100%.
Right, okay. So now we will open the floor to some questions. So anyone who has a question, you can type it on the chat, and Rob and Junri would be more than happy to answer them. Okay, while we're waiting for them to type in, I'm just curious, Junri, like, you mentioned earlier about the sorting and the ranking. Like, how often should someone actually be ranking their list, like moving people up and down from A to D?
Oh, you're doing it all the time, pal. Whenever you talk to somebody. And so the goal is, if it's a B list, you have to work in them. You have to consistently work in them until, okay, this is somebody that needs to be moved to A. And then when they move to A, you have to still, communicate and start keep building a relationship before they became an A plus. And that's your main goal, to add more people on the A plus level.
Got it. Okay. So I don't think we have any questions. So this has been a really good hour with you both. So to everyone watching, stop chasing leads, start building your spear. So this has been Pao, Junrei, and Rob, and we'll see you next time.
All
Thank
right.
you
Thank you,
guys
everyone.
and have a great day ahead.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. Bye bye.